first heat of action here at Marine Stadium in Miami with the beautiful skyline of this great city in the background from our stadium view, and we're right on the water's edge. And for the starting lineup of Heat 1A, here's Sam Cole.
Okay, Jim, we've got the U2. That's the Squire Shop, driven by Earl Hall, a 26-year-old rookie out of Hampton, Virginia. The boat's owned by Bob Style and sponsored by the Squire Shop stores out of Seattle. We have the U3, the Miss Renault. The driver, Milner Irvin out of Coral Gables, Florida. The boat is yellow and black. It's its first race, and it's owned by Jerry Shaneth. The U12, the Miss Budweiser, driver Jim Kropfeld, red, white, and gold, owned by the winningest owner in hydroplane history, Bernie Little. And the U40, the American Speedy Printing Special, driven by Fred Leland, owned by Bob Taylor, and it is white, yellow, and orange. Those are our first four boats for the action here today, Jim.
All right, the 1 minute gun has fired as the boats now go up to our left to the western end of the course in corners number 3 and 4. There leading up is Earl Hall in the Squire Shop. He leads the pack up there, followed by Budweiser, who wants lane 1, the Renault, and the American Speedy Printing. They're all bunched up there now. And they'll come down here in a flying start as the clock continues to wind down in the running start. Squire Shop will take it wide. Lane 1 will be Miss Budweiser. Slot number 2 will be the American Speedy Printing. Slot 3 will be taken by the Renault, and on the outside is the Squire Shop. You'll hear the tremendous roar as we are very close to the boats as they come down for the start.
Jim, and it's Fred Leland in the American Speedy, the Renault, and the Squire Shop, 1, 2, and 3. But here comes Jimmy Kropfeld in the Miss Budweiser.
He's up on the inside, Sam, as he hangs it on the hook there in corner number 1, and it'll be the short way around the course, and that's the rooster tail of your lead boat right now, Jim Kropfeld. But look at the Squire Shop come right on the side, and it's going to be a dogfight down the back chute, Sam.
Rookie Earl Hall coming out of there in the Bob Style Squire Shop. Jim Kropfeld and Miss Budweiser up the backstretch, but right now it's Earl Hall in the Squire Shop, our leader. Here comes Jim Kropfeld about a half a boat length away.
And he pulls him even and then goes past him as they come down the corner number 3 for the first time. It'll be 5 times around this 1 2/3 course. And on the inside, you can see him hanging on the hook. You get that second rooster tail off that skid fin that keeps him from spinning out. But again, coming wide out of the spray is the Squire Shop, and he's giving him plenty of room right now. Kropfeld will now take a slight lead because of that wide turn as they come down here now to complete lap number 1.
Comes Earl Hall again, Jim. He hooked the boat just a little bit as they came out of that turn, but Jim Kropfeld slowed way down. Earl Hall's back in the front in Bob Style Squire Shop.
Speedy Printing is 3rd, and the Renault is now 4th as they come down now to completion of lap number 1. They're all on lap number 2 of 5. And there is our leader, Jim Kropfeld in Bernie Little's Miss Budweiser. Kropfeld from Cincinnati, Ohio. The crew in the boat based in Seattle, and Bernie Little from Lakeland, Florida. They are really spread out over the country. And now while he has a lead up in his rooster tail, once again, here comes the rookie, Earl Hall. You'll just see him coming up there on the side. He's hidden there a little bit by the Budweiser rooster tail. And they're just about side by side right now as they come down to corner number 3 again. What a show. These fans are getting on this 1 2/3, and it's the Squire Shop with Earl Hall taking over the lead from Kropfeld as they come toward us to complete lap number 2.
102 miles an hour for Jim Kropfeld on lap number 1. Hall holds the course records here for limited hydroplane racing, and Jimmy Kropfeld is the world record holder here, and they're side by side here. There's our leader, Jim. Earl Hall's back up on top in the Squire Shop right now, going down into there.
He's in lane number 2, taking this 1 2/3 course a little wide, while the Budweiser with Jim Kropfeld hangs it on the hook inside. The Speedy Printing is 3rd, and the Miss Renault is 4th, as we now have 3 laps to go.
And as they go through there, Jim Kropfeld has things going his way. He has the inside track, but here comes Mr. Hall up on the outside. We got a heck of a race going here, Mr. Hendrick.
And the speeds will not be as fast as usual because this, as we said at the opening of the program, is our smallest course. They can't get the long straightaway speeds up. As soon as they get near the top end, they have to start slowing down the turn again because the water, of course, is not banked. And these boats do not turn like the average speedboat. They turn flat. The only thing that holds them in is the skid fin on the left side. If that lets go, it's bye-bye birdie. Now almost side by side at the apex of corners number 3 and 4. They come around and complete lap number 3 with 2 more to go as they spin out. Off that corner, they'll come on down and complete lap number 3. And once again, the boat on your left, or make it your right, is the Miss Budweiser, their cheerleader. Look at the Squire Shop once again, Sam. Give it chase.
Here comes Earl Hall. Their lap speed that time, 104 miles an hour on number 2. Hall doing one heck of a job in Bob Stiles' boat. Jimmy Kropfeld, though, keeps him out on his hip. Our third place boat, by the way, is the American Speedy Printing boat as he goes down the main stretch. And Fred Leland made a last-minute qualifying effort yesterday afternoon, 10 minutes before the courts closed, and got in the race. But right now, here's Mr. Kropfeld in Bernie Little's beer wagon.
As he comes off of corner number 2, side by side, moving up again. What a dogfight. Let's see who's got the acceleration. They'll put down the nitrous oxide button, which spits some instant juice into those engines, and they'll get up on the straightaway at about a half a boat length lead right now for the Squire Shop as they come into corner number 3. And they should come around to take the green flag, signifying one more lap, and we might have a drag race off that number 4 pin, Sam Cole, in the final lap.
Right you are. The green flag is flying. Everyone was legal at the start. Kropfeld on the inside. Hall's running a wider track. He's staying outside, but he brought it in a little closer that time. And as they come across here, Jim, they're going to be dead even. Earl Hall takes the lead once again here by about 2 boat lengths as they head down into that first turn. Their speed to last lap, 102.990 miles an hour.
And we're down to 3
on
boats.
The inside. Here comes Mr. Hall.
And we're down to 3 boats, and Miss Renault has returned to the pits on that last lap. So the American Speedy Printing currently is riding in number 3 spot. As he comes by, there he is, the roar of his engines as he comes about 20 feet from us. And now, side by side, with 3/4 of a lap to go, here it is, the Squire Shop on the outside with a slight lead over Miss Budweiser. The boat on your left, the Squire Shop. Now moving up on the inside, Jim Kropfeld, and he really pours the coals to it. He must have been playing cat and mouse. He is really honking down that straightaway now, and now he's going to have to hold it, hanging on the hook, in tight on lane number 1. Look at that rooster tail of water. Tons of water coming off of that left sponson, and Kropfeld knows the checkered flag is waiting. 400 points, which will give him a leg up on making this final in the Champions Park Regatta. And coming down toward the stand to take the checkered flag is the winner of Heat 1A, Miss Budweiser.
Second place will go to Earl Hall in the Squire Shop, and third will be Fred Leland in the American Speedy Printing. And you know, Kropfeld showed some experience there. He cut out in front of Hall as they come through there and made him go way wide, and that was what won the race for the Miss Budweiser there.
They're both fine limited drivers. They're going to develop fine in the unlimited department as our third place boat comes down now, and he'll take the checker flag. Sam, that is him, the American Speedy Printing, but Fred Leland minus his horizontal stabilizer, which he lost.
That's right, and as it goes by here, everyone got a good look at the state of Texas up on the front of that boat, owned by Bob Taylor out of Houston, Texas.
Now, the final order finish, if you will, Sam.
The Miss Budweiser and Jim Kropfeld, they'll get 400 points. Second place, the Squire Shop and Earl Hall, they'll get 300 points. And in third, it's the American Speedy Printing Special and Fred Leland, 225 points. The Miss Renault will not finish.
And we'll be back with more action here at Marine Stadium in Miami after this timeout. Back here at Miami's Marine Stadium, the second heat of the day, elimination action. Here's the Atlas Van Lines coming across our screen right now. And Sam, bring us the lineup for this heat of action.
Okay, Jim, you mentioned the Atlas Van Lines. That's the U1, the blue and white boat, the defending national champion, owned by Fran Muncy and Jim Lucero, driven by Chip Hanauer. We have the U8, the Executone out of Seattle, Washington, driver George Johnson, sponsored by Executone. It too is a blue and white boat. The third blue and white boat in this heat is the U10. That's the Miss Pure Delight, driven by Bobby Howard out of Cape Coral, Florida. And our fourth boat, the Miss Tosti Asti, red, white, and green, owned by Jim Saddam, driven by Todd Yarling.
The boats are now circling exactly right in front of the stadium. They're going up the back straightaway. Leading the way is the Pure Delight with Bobby Howard out of the Cape Coral, Florida area, followed up there by George Johnson, Executone, the Tosti Asti, and coming up way late. But he'll be there, I'm sure, when the start of this race goes on, is the Atlas Van Lines with Chip Hanauer. It'll be a 4-boat start in the flying. We have exactly 22 seconds to the start of this race. They cannot jump the clock. If they do, they're penalized an extra lap, so timing is all important. As we look to our left, the skyline of Miami shows us current turns number 3 and 4. They're coming down toward us now for the all-important start of this race. And it's still going to be 5 seconds to go. Bobby Howard is going to look like he's going to get the best start unless he can jump it. He better slow back off. Bobby Howard, I believe, jumped the clock. Here comes the Atlas Van Lines. And the Executone. Now, all our boats are down the corner number 1. The question we have right now, did Bobby Howard in the Pure Delight jumped the clock, and from our vantage point, unofficially, we would have to say yes, he was just slightly early. And now our lead boat is swinging way wide, hooking just a little bit, shaking loose, coming down the straightaway. It is going to be our leader, Chip Hanauer, in the Atlas Van Line. Sam?
Chip down in that first turn. Todd Yarling hooked and spun Miss Tosti. He's got it back on plane, though, right now. Chip Hanauer's way out in front here of everybody else. From our vantage point, you know, it looked like Mr. Howard was right on the money. He did a good job, but he put it on there. It looked like it was on the money. Hanauer came up behind him and took the lead midway down the straightaway, and it looks like Chip Hanauer is going to have everything his way.
No doubt about it, if he can just keep it going in the engine housing as he comes down here, riding very low in the front of the Atlas Van Line.
All distorted there, Jim. In testing on Friday afternoon, the deck blew off the boat. They worked for 24 hours straight and rebuilt the boat from all the damages and everything, and it's just a miracle that Chip Hanauer's out here today. And Bobby Howard's crew, as we've seen here, he also had a lot of damage earlier this week when his boat hooked and spun, and he lost a lot of stuff. But he's got it out here today. It's been a very tough week, but both of these teams have put it together, and they're in the show here today.
This boat is here. We're looking at the Atlas Van Lines having 3 straight heat problems in our first race of the year. Has not 1 point yet, and they are the defending national champion. They would like to win this race. This was one of the few races they did not win last year. Bernie Little's Miss Budweiser captured this champion spark plug regatta. But right now, looking for his first points of the year after a disastrous start with a lot of mechanical problems. Here's our leader here at Heat 1B, the Atlas Van Lines, Chip Hanauer, out of the greater Seattle area. As he comes in close, and look at that, we take our cameras right in the cockpit.
As he does that, he just puts a lap on Todd Yarling and Tosti, who got a little bit shaken up down there in the turn a little bit earlier on the first lap when he went down there and hooked the boat. So our leader is Atlas Van Lines. Right now, second place will be the Pure Delight, third the Executone, and the Tosti in fourth place.
And of course, that will all depend on whether they decide whether he jumped the clock or not, because that would move Bobby Howard from the Pure Delight out of second place back to fourth. And there he comes right close to shore. And we're only about 20 feet from the coast. From time to time, you will not be able to hear us because the engines of these aircraft engines will just run us right out. The Tosti, this is young man Todd Yarling from the Madison, Indiana area, getting his feet wet for the second time this year. Speaking of Bobby Howard, who is, of course, a driver for the Captran Resort Special a couple of years ago. He's back with his own boat. He and his wife Marlene are the owners of that boat. I understand you had a chance to talk to Bobby Howard, Sam Cole, earlier today before the race. Let's go to that conversation.
Bobby, you had some problems. You had a near accident during qualifications here, but I understand it was purely delightful that you got the boat all fixed and she'll be in the race today.
Oh yeah, we're all set. Boys worked all night to get the boat ready. Went into a turn a little bit too hard, and I hooked the Miss Pure Delight and tore the deck up, but we're ready to go. We're running strong, and we're very excited. This is our course. We've raced here for many years, and we're ready.
As the only all-Florida team in today's race, I know there's going to be a lot of fans cheering for you.
Oh, yeah, we're expecting a couple busloads of folks coming down to see the Miss Pure Delight run, and we're very excited. Beautiful race course, beautiful day. It's going to be super.
That was a conversation earlier with Bobby Howard, who's now currently running second in the Pure Delight. We had official word. Sam Cole, you did say that all of the starters were legal. From our angle, it was a question mark, but the officials, of course, on the job.
That's right. Here's Bobby Howard. He's in second place right now as he goes up the backstretch. As we said, Chip Hanauer and the Atlas Van Lines will score their first points on the 1983 Thunderbolt World Series Tour. He'll pick up 400 points if he can get it around here to the finish line.
And he's now in corner number 3 to come around the checker flag, and this heat will be history. One of our boats has dropped out, and that is George Johnson in the Executone down there in corners number 1 and 2. He was currently running third. Now Todd Yarling and Tosti will take over in third place. Here's our leader, the winner of Heat 1B, and picking up the first points of the year, 400 points for the Atlas Van Lines, and Chip Hanauer, defending national champion. Just going for a Sunday ride, not a lot of competition going on.
Our final order of finish there, Jim, will be the Atlas Van Lines and Chip Hanauer with 400 points. Second place will go to the Miss Pure Delight and Bobby Howard. And third place will go to Todd Yarling and the Miss Tosti, while the Executone and George Johnson did not finish, but they'll be back later.
As the crowd anticipates the second appearance of preliminary heats for our Unlimited Thunderboats today, it reminds us that one of our top boats is missing here on our production from ESPN's Champion Sparkplug Regatta. A boat that won the inaugural, the Rich Plan Food Service with Ron Snyder, was damaged in a pre-race run. And the unhappy driver was standing by with Sam Cole, and they talked about that prior to race time today.
In our ESPN Series opener from Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, Ron Snyder was the happiest man in the state as he stood in the winner's circle after capturing the Missouri Governor's Cup Regatta. Today, he's got to be the saddest man in the state of Florida. Some misfortune out there this morning, Ron.
Sam, we went out for the last time this morning to do some testing. We've been dialing it in, as you can see. We've been on the water 3 times this morning, and we finally thought we had it dialed in, so we wanted to go out and make sure. Well, to behold all of us, we lost a blade off of our prop, and which in turn just knocked everything so far out of balance it took the bottom of the boat, gearbox, master switch, and the firewall right through the cockpit. So it looks like we're done and for today, all day, and it looks like we're done for New York too.
Ron, you talk about terms like the firewall, the rudder, and those type of things. Those are very naive terms to our fans at home who are watching Thunderboat racing. Explain what happens when a propeller breaks to a boat.
Well, what it does, it just throws everything so far off balance. We had a 2-bladed prop on, so we lost 1 blade, so that meant just 1 blade was on there. And if you know the mathematics about that, it just went violently into vibration, which bent the end of the shaft. And then when the shaft got bent, my foot was coming off the accelerator. I felt it coming, but I didn't get it off soon enough, and that quick, or that instant, everything went. It just tore the strut off the bottom of the boat and pulled the bottom of the boat with it, part of it. And again, that's all tied onto the gearbox through the shaft, and it just ripped the gearbox right off the motor and broke it in quite a few pieces. And in turn, that hit the firewall, which is between me and the motor, and it knocked that out, which the master switch is sitting right on the inside of that, which controls everything in the boat. I couldn't shut it off, really.
Well, what about a driver like Ron Snyder? You're very competitive by nature. I know you have to get yourself into a race day psych, so to speak, and when something like that happens, how do you cope with it?
Well, it's, you know, the first feeling of sadness was that we're out of the race, and I feel sorry for the crew because the 2 of them were still down here last night quite late. We thought we was having fuel problems itself, so they stayed here waiting on some fresh fuel to make sure we got it. And they got to work on it, and I feel sorry for them because it's going to take a lot of work to put us back into the race again.
Well, Ron, I know we'll see you back this year, hopefully in the winner's circle again here on ESPN.
We'll guarantee it once we get her running again, Jim.
A fierce competitor, and of course he will not be in action today, but he will be heard from before the 1983 Thunderboat season is over, to be sure. It takes all kinds, but here at Marine City, here at Marine Stadium, I should say, we've got all types of fans.